Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Kyle Bossman, the Dark Prince of Nerd Media. We are joined this week by Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Brandon Jones.
Hello.
And that's it for right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're home.
We're all home. If you're just listening and wondering why this sounds weird, I don't know. I bet every single podcast and show you watch is weird this week. You know, I don't feel like we have to explain it anymore. You can just say we're on Zoom and like people get it. Weird time, but we're still doing podcasts. In fact, let's kick off with our corrections. Begin corrections music, please. Ashley Graham, the president's daughter, is 20 years old.
She's got that college sweater on, you know, like wrapped around her waist.
Oh my
That's
God.
news. That's news to me. I didn't know that.
I think because the whole game they're like, you got to save the president's daughter, you know, and so you like it sounds like she should be young. She's an adult. The PlayStation blog very quickly updated their post about backwards compatibility. Actually, not very quickly. It wasn't until Thursday, the day we went live with our podcast, they wrote this. Quick update on backwards compatibility. With all the amazing games in PS4's catalog, we've devoted significant efforts to enable our fans to play their favorites on PS5. We believe that the overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PS4 titles will be playable on PS5. We're expecting backward compatible titles will run at a boosted frequency on PS5 so that they can benefit from higher or more stable frame rates and potentially higher resolutions. We're currently evaluating games on a title-by-title basis to spot any issues that need adjustment from the original software developers. Cool. So it's not going to be 100 or less.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, it sounds very much like the Xbox system at this point.
Right. Where it sounds like even the Xbox, they're not sure how many games will still work on Series X, which is crazy. I think it really is just a case-by-case basis thing. Like you don't know until you're testing it, which is wild. Another correction I saw a lot that I think is worth bringing up is that game sizes might actually be smaller next gen, at least digital downloads, and that if you have a guaranteed SSD, you won't have to put in as many redundancies into the code, but that is yet to be proven. We'll see.
Right. Well, the thing is you have that working, right? But at the same time, you're shooting for 4K and 8K more, so you're gonna have bigger textures in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the audio stuff as well. How's it all gonna balance out?
3D audio blood, it's got to be huge. So yeah, we'll see. Theoretically, yes. Download sizes could get smaller. They could get more compressed. But yeah, you know, it's hard to say. End corrections music, please. But we're not done with corrections. We got a new segment called Corrections Takedowns. Blood, you read a lot of corrections. You read a lot of comments. You know how some comments just smell bad?
Sure.
You can just smell them and the person sounds overly confident but also wrong at the same time. It just smells gross. So I got some corrections that we have to take down. We have to deliver facts to and help them out. First, a lot of corrections were saying, hey, Cerny did this with the PS4. They're just repeating history. This exact same thing already happened. No, in so many ways. So in the February reveal of the PlayStation 4, yes, Mark Cerny did come out and talk about the PlayStation 4, but also games were revealed. Knack was revealed. Killzone was revealed. Infamous was revealed, right? So
that's not what they're referring to, right? They're talking about his GDC talk, which probably wasn't as widely broadcast.
Mark Cerny did not have a GDC talk that year.
Oh.
Yeah, Blood. This is how wrong everyone was. Chris Norton had a GDC talk that year, but that was not allowed to be recorded with video or audio. You can listen to an audio recording of it today. It's online, but there was no video recording of that GDC talk. Mark Cerny did have a talk at an event called Game Lab 2013, and that presentation was called The Road to PS4. However, that happened on June 28th, 2013, after E3, after everything was revealed. It is worth mentioning that at GDC of that year, they also showed the controller and the PlayStation camera for the first time. Still, the box had not been seen until E3 of 2013. So
seeing the controller is the thing that surprised me the most, was, you know, talking about everything that's supposedly in there.
Yeah. it's almost time, right? That's the thing. Is like, look, I did not have a problem with last week's presentation. Jones obviously did, but the people defending it as like this was normal business are completely wrong. You all need to check yourselves.
Check yourselves.
Next comment I had a really hard time with. Oh, people. All right. So you know how the Minecraft ray tracing demo did not have a stable frame rate? A lot of people are like, hey, it was an encoding issue. Watch this video. And like, it's the
Digital Foundry?
Digital Foundry video, right? So you watch that video. Yes, that's at the beginning of the video. If you watch that very same video for 3 more minutes, they explain that the demo they saw had frame rate dips between 30 and 60 FPS. Watch that video. Don't correct me with a video that includes the very facts that you are missing. Check yourselves.
Check yourselves.
Check yourself.
Finally, worst possible take. This comment right here, I'll just read it word for word. People desperately clinging to SSD speeds, ignoring that PC gamers have had SSDs for 10 years. Check yourself.
Check yourself.
Check yourselves.
That's the worst one.
Oh, that is the worst take. That is just somebody who's not willing to listen to anything that's being said. Not that we're tech pros. I won't say that we are. You know what I was thinking about? I was actually thinking like, hey, you can like movies without caring how projectors work. It's kind of where I'm at.
Nice.
You can like movies without caring how Lucasfilm actually renders a Millennium Falcon these days. I simply don't care. I'm not going to watch that bonus feature, but I can still love a movie. So to anyone who says I don't understand why they don't care about tech, it's simply like that to me. It's I can love a video game without caring how it's made. Pretty simply. Okay.
Well, being curious about tech and caring about tech are two different things. Like,
Tell me.
because we don't necessarily have all the information doesn't mean we don't care about tech.
I don't care.
Okay.
I truly don't care.
You host a podcast. You care enough to pass on the information, to analyze it.
Yeah, I guess I'm more on like the Hollywood Reporter end. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited to talk about game announcements and the biz more than I am the tech side.
Yeah,
Am I
I'm
too bad?
definitely in the middle ground there. Like I don't understand all the ins and outs, but I also, kind of take a wait and see with the stuff because like, I do know from the past that just like putting a spec sheet side by side doesn't tell the whole story. The architecture can make a bit. I mean, the PS3 was that, right? When the PS3 came out, it was really hard for a lot of third-party ports to run efficiently on that.
Yeah.
Even though it was more powerful of a system, but the architecture was really difficult to work with. So those things do make a difference.
Yeah, it is going to be a wild fall, or I mean, it could be 2021. We'll see. Time to play Best Last Line. Bloodworth, this is a fun game. So I don't feel like there are enough famous last lines in video games. I don't think we celebrate them enough. So what we do is we look at some suggestions from our patrons for the best last line of a video game. The panel determines which one is the most memorable. And then of the last lines that win, I will choose one of those to be the actual last line that I have on the final Easy Allies podcast for myself at the end of April. Okay. Again, we had too many good suggestions. I'll start with this one because there were 3 of them. 3 people suggested this one last line, and I love this last line too. From Umair Zafar, Jordan Brown, and Wu-Tang Clan. You guys are the best. Remember that game?
It seems such a simple thing. I don't know what that is.
Man.
It's so funny. That line means nothing, but it hit me so hard. It's Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's the very, very end of Final Fantasy 15. You guys are the best. All right. All right. From John Johnston. Father, your death is avenged. Now that I have destroyed Bison, his empire will surely collapse. Finally, you can rest in peace.
Really good.
And I can get back to being a young single girl.
Yeah, that's right.
Somehow, everything that happened stopped them from being a young single girl.
Is that from Street Fighter 2?
Yeah. Who's ending?
It's Chun-Li, right?
Jones. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Bullseye. All right, let's
It's her arc,
Dang, let's do at least 2
For
more.
me, it was a Tuesday.
All right, this one I don't expect either of you to know. It's a game that I streamed. Okay. The quote is from Sam Hall. A new life came into being, different from anything that had ever existed. It was nothing but the genital organs and a single desire. A heart was no longer needed.
That's your enigma.
No, it's
It's
Tale
not.
of Tale of the Sun, which has like 9 different endings.
Yeah.
One of the endings is the propagation ending. So you're a caveman who chooses to evolve through propagation, and so all it becomes is like this weird, like fleshy mesh of genital organs, and the heart is no longer needed is the last thing that's said, because it's just like organs procreating for the rest of all time. And that's an actual end to a video game, Tale of the Sun, PlayStation 1. Incredible. Okay, last one. From Adam Northwest. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed any of us had a chance to be here at all.
That's so on the nose, though.
That's the thing. The first and the fourth one are super on the nose.
Yeah, see, it's just
You know the game?
it's got to be relevant but funny, and that breaks my heart.
Oh yeah, that one's the game.
I'm having to hide my emotions right now.
You know that game? What the game is? Edith Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch?
Oh, okay.
All right. So which of those 4 most memorable?
2.
Oh, the Chun-Li, yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Oh God. All right.
Come on now. What did you even do this bit for, dude?
They're trying to find good actual quotes, and the funny ones always win.
It's a,
I mean,
it's a
the
good
other
actual quote.
I mean,
It
that's
is a
the
good actual
problem.
quote.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. Is like the fourth one is the best.
But it's not just haha, I'm a piece of poop, laugh. It's everything kind of starts to resonate, and then I can go back to being a little girl. It's just
You're right.
Such a slam dunk right at the end.
Yeah. So people are throwing at me like random funny ones, but you're right. I did pick that one. I think it is more than random funny.
Especially if you can because it's the same as the one from last week, where it's just like, take that, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
But Chun-Li beats it, because Chun-Li's also, this one's also a little bit longer. So I like a good meaty line that you can, you guys are the best. Is it resonates, but it's too short.
Okay, fair enough. Now, waking up this morning, coming into Tuesday, March 26th, I had no news for the podcast. Then there was a Nintendo Mini Direct.
That's Thursday, Kyle.
Today is Thursday. Great point. So coming into this podcast, no news. All days are the same. Once lockdown begins, it's all in one day. The heart was no longer needed. So you would think that with the Nintendo Direct, how exciting. Oh, I finally have news for the podcast. I'm leading with a story that has nothing to do with Nintendo.
Yeah.
I found this in my inbox. Bloodworth already knows what it is. He forwarded this to me.
I got a Nintendo headline that wasn't in the Direct, but we can get to that later.
Ooh, I'm excited for that, Jonesy.
I should have mentioned it before we started recording. Sorry.
No, go ahead. We're
No.
It's a fun conversational podcast. Anyway, Epic Games is publishing for other studios now, and they came out hard today, saying they're publishing games from 3, I'd say, crazy studios. First is Gen Design, the studio from Fumito Ueda.
Is it Gen?
Do you say Gen?
I don't know what's correct. Either
I
one could be
like to say
correct.
Gen, like the Street Fighter character.
Sure.
But you're right, it's probably Jen. Who obviously just made The Last Guardian, but Shadow of the Colossus and Eco as well. Play Dead, who I think has only made Inside and Limbo. I don't think they've made any games outside of those, but 2 great games, Inside especially. And Remedy Entertainment, who just made Control last year. So Epic Games Publishing is a new multi-platform publishing effort with a developer-first approach, is what they say. You know what? Before we go into the technicalities of why I actually think this is an interesting story, let's talk about those 3 studios. I think that's a really strong lineup.
Yeah, that's super strong. Like, those are all very creative minds. Like, they're not going to just put out, your boilerplate, games as a service shooter, battle royale mode and all that. Like, they're going to, it's very much like Microsoft getting Ninja Theory, right? Like, they're going to make things that are going to be thought-provoking and interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And if you listed like studios that should probably be picked up, I would put these in there. and they're not getting picked up. They're just being allowed to make games. A way better deal, honestly. Well, maybe not on way better, but yeah, very interesting deal that Epic's proposing. So good picks, I would say.
They're also
Public.
sorry, they're also beyond like what you typically think of as indie. Like even though they are operating independently, like they are capable of doing like really high quality work.
Remedy especially, I would say. Yeah, Last Guardian. I guess you could say Last Guardian's AAA, but that game took 8 years to make. So yeah, Remedy to me is like the easiest, like lock it in. That's just instant gold or whatever. Play Dead also takes a long time in between games, but just makes incredible ones when they come out on the other end. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see these games for a while even.
Play Dead's, I think we could.
Because it's been so long since Inside.
I think they've probably been cooking it for quite a while, and they're just looking for the right partner.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a trailer that came along with this announcement where, Jones, you do see people pointing at screens. I know you hate this, and 3D models getting rotated of nothing, of rocks, and some ambiguous 3D controller movement. But yeah, you're right, Blooded. They're at least cooking on these things. And you're right, they may have been in development already, and they just found their publisher, and Epic said, let's save all these for one day. Let's make all 3 announcements on one day. I want to talk about what I think is technically interesting about this. So, and this is just me reading from their PR statement. Developers will retain 100% of all intellectual property and full creative control of their work. They are really letting these developers do whatever they want and keep it all at the end of the day. And it's kind of like, Epic, what are you doing? What do you get out of this? 2 other bullet points I find really interesting. So they're going to cover up to 100% of development costs. I don't know what up to 100% means. From developer salaries to go-to-market expenses such as QA, localization, and marketing, and all publishing costs. So yeah, they're just full on publishing this stuff. And then the next bullet point, 50-50 profit sharing. Developers earn a fair share for their work. Once costs are recouped, developers earn at least 50% of all profits. That's crazy. But actually, also, I didn't. Not many publishers tell us how much split a developer gets from their cut of profits. I think it's actually really rare to actually see that number.
Yeah.
So for them to brag about it, to me, implies that it's pretty good. that 50-50 is all right. So yeah, Jones, what is Epic doing here? Why are they doing this?
It's a weird. Well, it's cool that they're spending their money in interesting ways, because it's kind of like Riot, where like we saw Riot making so much money off League of Legends, and it's just like, what are they going to do? And it's exciting that they're branching out into all these different genres and making all these different games. Epic's like, that's not enough for us. Like, we really want to have a footprint on this industry in a lot of different ways, maybe than people are not expecting. And so but it's strange to me, because it's like, is this going to return on them an investment just purely with dollar signs, or is like clout a big thing for them? That like when you think Epic, you literally think like, oh, they do everything, like this is a company that has an engine you can use to make games. This is a company that has one of the biggest games. This is a company that has their own game store. This is a company that's now publishing other things.
I think you nailed it, Jones. I think it's way more about clout than profit. Right, because the comparison to Riot is like they'd be just making a bunch of Fortnite games, Fortnite spin-offs.
Right.
And they're not like
Which
making
is not, nothing against that. That's a smart thing to do with your money,
I guess.
Again, like it was like when Blizzard made Overwatch. It was like, stepping outside of your comfort zone to try another genre is a huge deal. It's like a big risk. And not only just for your expertise and trying something for the first time, but your audience just being like, no, this is not why I'm not, you're not going to get me to play this, being a fan of the game that you other make, because I don't like card games. I don't like fighters. I don't like shooters. And so it's just interesting that Epic really wants and is willing to spend the money to get, because they must have spent money on this, and just like when they launched the Epic Game Store, they're really focusing on the percentages, what we're doing for the developers. We are doing this, because Hot Topics are crunch, and dev time's taking too long, way too much money being spent on games. When you have you have something like Untitled Goose Game or something that comes up where it's really exciting, and people are like, well, I had as much fun with this as I had with this AAA game. Should we really rethink how this industry is structured? And so like their sell keeps to be kind of pointed in that direction, regardless of what Epic does. That they're like, we are doing this to benefit the business. We are doing this to help developers. and it just makes
there
me
was a line
happier
in there,
about
right,
Epic.
Kyle? They're like, we want to be the publishers that we always wanted, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To me, but Blood, doesn't that seem too friendly coming from a business that is making so much money?
Sure, but they are like, I mean, they've got some outside investors, right? Like Tencent, people get a little up in arms about. But I think that they are still sort of not quite like a family business, but like there are those companies out there, those corporations that are pretty much family owned or whatever. Like they're the ones making the decisions, and so I kind of wonder if it's kind of like that, where it's like they're not really necessarily interested in making money as long as they make their money back, and maybe not even that interested in clout. They're just like, hey, we want to make cool games, and these are people making cool games, so let's help them make cool games.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, at some point when your business is making so much money, you just have to start spending it. And why not spend it in interesting and fun ways? I could see that. Before we move on, of these three studios, panel, which game are you most excited to see? Which next project are you most anticipating?
Probably Playdead's.
Really?
Because I think, Control was my game of the year last year, but and that's something that I wanted to mention when you talked about three studios. It's like, I think they're all on like an upswing. It's like Inside. I mean, Limbo's great, but like Inside was clearly like, whoa, it just looked, better. It was more interesting, story wise and visually. And, I think Control is the next to. I really liked Alan Wake. I just enjoyed it thematically, but I think Control is a better game. And like I love, obviously Max Payne 1 and 2. Those games are fantastic. But I just think you can certainly with last gen. I think like that studio just got better and better and better. And I think all three of those are something where you can kind of see that trajectory, and it's really interesting acquisitions. In terms of like what they're going to deliver, what that next game is going to be. And I think Blood nailed it in that, like, it's time to hear what Playdead's next thing is going to be.
Blood, how about you?
I think I'm most interested in Ueda's game, just because I don't know what to expect. I mean, probably 3D action adventure is about as close as you can pin it down, but otherwise, they've made two games that are unlike any other games. So,
will it hint at the lore of Eco and Shadow of the Colossus?
I'm not sure. Because those three all tie together, but they're also all published by Sony. So I don't. Again, you go back to talking about ownership of IP.
Yeah.
Sony is clearly the one that owns those games and is going to republish them to death. So.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird because obviously Eco and Shadow of the Colossus are not the same IP, but they're clearly same universe. I don't know. I don't know how things like that work, because it's only like hinted at. It's never explicitly stated. Jones, the one thing I do want to challenge though, and Blood, I'm with you on Ueda. Last Guardian was not as well received as Shadow of the Colossus or Eco even. And so when you say they're all on upward trends, I would question whether that team really is on an upward trend.
Sure. I still think in terms of like I don't know, generally ambition, maybe. I think that's like they might have like missed the mark, but like you can tell they're taking what they did from their previous projects and applying that in a different way. Like, it's like you're looking at, okay, like the Shadow of the Colossus is epic as hell, and the music's amazing, and it's a really fascinating game, and I think a better game than Last Guardian, but at the same time, it's you versus these big things, and so it's like thinking of, okay, how do we evolve this? What if this large object going through this environment actually has more of a complex AI? What if it's your friend? What if you're actually moving with this thing? What if we want to make you actually feel for this in a way that's not like, there's some surprise at the end, but like just literally by the way it is acting, by the way it's behaving. I also didn't finish Last Guardian, so can't necessarily speak to that. Is it shocking, Kyle? Sorry. A lot of games, man.
What do you think is the surprise at the end of Last Guardian?
Surprise at the end?
What do you think happens? What do you think happens at the end?
You swap bodies. There you go.
Jones, that's a cool guess, dude.
So he's just a bit, the Guardian's like,
okay, let's talk about that Nintendo Mini Direct. No warning for this thing. I don't believe it was even live streamed. Just almost a half hour long. It was like 29 minutes, 5 seconds short of that. Just kind of popped up on the internet this morning. I think worth beginning with how the presentation began. It started with kind of a warning, an alert, a note that said, please note, due to COVID-19, release dates and other information presented in this video are subject to change. For potential updates, please check the official Nintendo website and social media channels, as well as those of other publishers. Always self-promoting. Our hearts go out to all those impacted by COVID-19 during this challenging time. I think worth noting. I think that was a good call, honestly. I'm being a little snarky about the self-promotion, but I think it was a nice little way to handle this. Hey, everybody, we're in a weird spot. You're in a weird spot. We're acknowledging it. We're going to move on and be silly and goofy for the rest of this presentation. I liked it. I think it was a good move. Now, the rest of it did not contain a lot of splashy Nintendo announcements that we're typically used to seeing in a Nintendo Direct that is not called a mini Direct. I did want to hit on the 2 game announcements. Blood, did you realize when you were watching this that Good Job was developed and published by Nintendo?
I didn't get to watch it. I did read the email that they sent.
Sure.
But I lost about half my day trying to get my computer to work. So
it happens.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. And then because of the Direct and the other news today, I had like actually over 100 emails to go through this. But yeah.
So.
But I didn't know much about Good Job. No.
Did you at least peek at it? Do you have an impression of what Good Job is?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, this is fun.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to explain it. We got a code. We've got it for whoever's gonna want it, but
that's the crazy thing is it was shadow dropped.
Yeah.
Announced and released on the same day. Excuse me. So this game is. So everybody is just kind of like a blocky stick figure, like you might see on, when there's a yellow triangle that says "caution, wet floor."
Yeah.
And there's just like a little black man just slipping on a puddle. You're that black man for the whole game. Nintendo's finally making a game where you're a black man, and basically you have tasks to do throughout this game. Where the one that was demonstrated, that was
podcast you got left.
That was just
four in the.
So the one task they showed in the game was you had to get a projector. You had to get a projector from one side of the office to the other side of the office, and it looks like sloppy and silly. It looks like overcooked. You know what I mean? You're making a mess on the way from one side of the office to the other.
Yeah, I had a thought that it might be kind of like overcooked from the sound of it.
Yeah, and what is interesting, I would say, to separate it is that there are multiple ways to achieve your objective. And so the interesting way they showed was you could do the overcooked way and just kind of like bobble your way through, or you could like connect this wire to 2 parts and turn that into a slingshot and shoot yourself from one side of the office to the other. And it looks like the more things you destroy, the more money you make, like a Blast Core style. And that was just, announced and released. It's just a $20 US dollar title. Boom, there it is.
Nice.
Yeah. Nintendo announced another game today. Blood, did you catch what this one is?
I'll probably recognize it when you say it, but it's not coming to me immediately.
It's a sequel to a Nintendo DS game. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. No, I did miss this one.
So, Jones, this is a board game collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
At last.
51 board games. And it's got mahjong, it's got poker, it's got, every kind of board game. I mean, it has Connect 4. They had a different name for it, but it has Connect 4 in there. It's like count up to 4. It's like, you can't do that. And they just move on. It's got Yahtzee. And they're just like, we're moving on. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then at the end, it's like, we're tanks. Just games that are clearly not board games anymore. So it's a collection of, cool board games. You can play them online. You can do like a playlist, which I think is cool, of 3 different games at once. And then you can play through those and pick 3 more. But I like this idea of like, okay, guys, let's do these 3. You know what I mean? Let's do chess, checkers, and then Texas Hold'em. That's not coming until June 4th, 2020. But to me, a good kind of Switch thing. Maybe something that should have come sooner in the Switch's lifetime.
No, I mean, because we all saw these on the DS and the 3DS. You're like Toys R Us, and it's just like Solitaire Masters, and just like all these different boards, and you're like, oh yeah, that's something I could see. It's like, oh, a gift for my uncle, or you're like, oh well, it's only $20, and I'm in the store, I'll get that. But like in a direct is fascinating. It's, which you said there was like a tie, like this developer, it's a sequel to. Was this big on the DS?
This was a Nintendo. Nintendo developed and published.
Right, but you said this was originally on the DS.
Yeah.
So did this make waves on the DS? Was this like one
I
of
don't
those
think
DS?
so, man.
How did you know about it? Did you?
It's like Art Academy, basically.
I had to Google it, dude. I had to Google it.
Okay.
I thought maybe this was a Wii U game, but Wii U was something else entirely. Because do you remember the Wii U video, the initial video, and you actually do see two people playing, what is it? What's the game where there's triangles? Backgammon, thank you. Yeah. So you saw two people like touching the touchpad and playing backgammon. This is finally the execution of that. And so I thought maybe this is a sequel to a Wii U game. It's not. But I would say it's definitely a spiritual sequel of like the Wii Play games.
Sure.
Like the weird air hockey game and things like that. Just graphically, I mean, you're still using your Miis and stuff. And so it definitely feels like that kind of vibe.
But what's interesting, because you said this was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they called it a mini direct. I mean, it's not mini due to the length. It's clearly mini because they're not making big announcements.
Yeah. And maybe we can stop and talk about that for a second, Blood. I think that was the right call. I think that if you give us 2 days notice and we're highly anticipating this and we're ready to live stream it and react to it, what I say this morning, that there are no mouth opening moments, right? Not even a, oh, you know
to
what
which
I mean?
Ben replied, who hurt you?
Yeah, exactly. Like neat things, lots and lots of neat things, updates on games,
that's how you rate, like the old, what was it, Game Pro that had the faces on the reviews? What was it's like your jaw, the jaw dropping level of the direct.
Yeah.
How far? 3-inch drop, 1-inch drop? What are we talking here?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Jones, I watched this whole thing with my mouth closed.
Yeah. Lips sealed.
My lips were sealed throughout.
Eyes open, lips sealed.
Some interesting. I mean, like there are definitely things that were appealing to me, but things that aren't necessarily going to get covered on the podcast, like release dates and this extra thing is being added to this. What do you think? Was it a good call to release it this way? No warning, not streamed on Twitch.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Not for us.
Yeah.
But just 12 hours.
Maybe even for us, you don't want to have everyone just being sour about, there's no big announcements if there's, if they know there's not going to be big announcements.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot last week about setting expectations in reference to Sony's thing with the road to PS5. I do feel like this was being very aware of our expectations and what was actually in the video itself. And then they called it mini direct. It easily could have been called a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. And I think, kind of going back to the PS5 thing, I think the problem is if you announce anything's going to happen, like immediately people are going to start spinning their wheels and start, okay, I bet this is going to be there. I bet that's going to be there. It's time to see Metroid Prime 4, and none of that's going to happen. So why let people do that?
Blood, that's exactly it. Because I would have said Metroid and Zelda. I would have said Zelda's a lock. And so I didn't have this disappointment that there wasn't a Zelda in this video. I think they handled it really well. I'm happy with the thing in itself.
Just who's leaking it?
What do you mean?
There's rumors that have been going around. Like they kept saying that like the indie one would be last week and then this one would come this week. People they were right on that.
Yeah.
They could have potentially said that, just shooting in the dark, but because they had to have something before the end of the fiscal year, right?
You know what the big difference is? Doug Bowser is president of Nintendo of America now. I'm just saying. No, I don't know, Blood. I think that I was on Damiani's podcast last week, like so positive there would be one this week. And then last night I remember going to bed like, man, we didn't get a Nintendo Direct. And like we did. It happened. It didn't make me cry, but it was still pretty cool. I want to talk about this really quick. This is not a headline.
Are we moving on from the direct though?
We're not.
Okay, good.
The next Smash Bros. DLC character was kind of announced.
Right, yeah.
And it is going to be a character from ARMS.
Right.
And then the display was the full roster of every single character of an Arms from Arms. It's like, who's it gonna be? And then you can also play Arms for free for 1 week starting today if you would so choose. I think the game should be free forever at this point, but
If that's a thing you want to do.
yeah.
You know.
Jones, what do you think about that?
I kind of dig it, man. Really? I have no dog in the race of Smash characters. I have nobody that is just like, please. I mean, I did. It was Simon, and it happened. You know, it's like, oh, there we go. That's
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And so now I'm just kind of got my popcorn, and I'm just like, what are they gonna do? And what character actually comes to Smash is one thing. What the trailer is like, how they package that, totally different thing. How they function in Smash, totally different thing. What other materials they bring in, like Persona, you had those stages that evolved. That was really cool. They've never done anything like this before, and it cracks me up because I don't think it's successful in really making like a stir, you know, like I think this is something I obviously, you know, just like I think the Splatoon crowd's like up here. I think the Arms crowd's like a little smaller. So like, I don't know, obviously there are people that probably love that game and probably still play it a ton, but it's like, I bet they're wondering like, this seems like such a natural synergy. This is something that the team wants to do. How do we make this interesting at all? And it's like, how do we make people talk about that? How do we create this having a big conversation? How do we make this trend? How do we make someone want one character over another? And I certainly think that if they had just come out and said, hey, it's the gal with the twin hair, or maybe they said it wasn't. I saw some people saying that it wasn't going to be her.
Twintel?
Twintel?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be Twintel.
Why?
Because they've got, that's the thing is they've got a clear, like, it's almost like Mario Kart, right? You've got a clear default man and a clear default woman for Arms.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those two. It's not gonna be the mummy. You know?
But I'd be so impressed. You know, I'd be like, wow, you know, because they're like, we just looked at them and thought it doesn't matter who's popular, it's who matters for Smash, like who would fit Smash Brothers. Yeah. And so I just think they turned it into a weird story. You know, they definitely made it something other than just like, and it's this person.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Sakurai had written recently, Jones, that the new Smash character would be delayed because of COVID-19 and everybody being further away. He straight up said so. And so I do think this was kind of a compromise announcement, but I do agree, it's kind of an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
I do feel like it puts everybody a little more at ease. Go ahead, Bud.
This is slightly mean, but it's a little hard to test Smash Brothers if you're having to do it online.
That's not mean at all.
It's fair.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's accurate. That's our jobs. We're reporting. You know what I mean?
They can't balance those characters. They have no idea. Yeah.
We've done the research.
It was like Sakurai just, you know, he's playing online. All of a sudden, it's up. It's stuttering. It's stuttering. Up.
Yep.
Yeah. My theory on it is that it'll be kind of like how the Bowser Jr. works, and that it's a multiple characters for one character model. Or character slot, I guess. Character models per character slot. There are enough characters who use their arms. Twintel does not, but I think there are at least 4 or 5 who actually straight up just use their arms as arms and are about the same height. So I think maybe they'll do that with this. Because you're so right. There's not one character who we can name besides Twintel, I guess. You know what I mean? I think it's like Springman and Ribbon Girl, actually. I can name them.
Yeah, I think those are right, but I'm not even confident enough to say that you're right.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed. And especially, I mean, Springman is like a summon. You can summon him. You know, he's one of the assist trophies. So that'd be boring. It'd be boring if it's him for sure. Last thing I want to talk about, and I guess this won't, I mean, if you hadn't seen it, it wouldn't mean as much, but one of the games that really stood out to me is called Shinsekai Into the Depths.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, that did stand out to me as well.
Oh, cool.
Apparently that's a Capcom game, and that came out on Apple Arcade.
Yeah. I had no idea about either of those things until I'm Googling this.
Right, me neither.
So, Blood, what was weird about this to me, and what is weird about it is how it did stand out, because it is an undersea Metroidvania, I would call it, by observation simply. And yet it's not boring. I feel like I say the words undersea Metroidvania, and you've played one of those 50 times already.
Sure.
Was it actually interesting to you too, in a way beyond hearing that it came from Capcom?
I think Capcom definitely made my ears perk up, but I was also like, I saw there's something about seeing the screenshots, and I was just like, why isn't there a trailer link in this email?
Sure.
Like I wanted to actually see it, even though I was going through 100 emails today. I wanted to see what that game looked like. So I just gotta when I get the chance to actually watch the direct.
Yeah, it's something I'm gonna have to like think about it. It's something I'm gonna have to meditate on. I think simply having a character be larger on the screen makes it different enough to have an impact visually. I think a lot of Metroidvanias, you're tiny. You're this big on the screen. Even Ori, man. Ori is just like the size of a thumbnail.
Yeah, Ori's just
tiny,
like a little white dot running around. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think honestly, just having a big, impactful character model means something, at least to differentiate yourself. That was $20. That was released today on the Switch, and as you said, it was previously available on the Apple Store. But yeah, I don't know. Weird that it stood out to me. Okay. Panel. Earlier today, I was watching TV. During my lunch, thinking about what I'm going to do with the podcast, and there was a show on called The Real. The Real is like it's like The View. It's a panel show. 4 women sitting at a table just talking about stuff, and I realized this is a podcast.
Right.
Daytime talk shows. These are simply podcasts. So for this segment, I don't have a title for this yet. We'll just call it Daytime Talk Show Advice.
Okay.
So on The Real, typically a segment would be, your man is dreaming about his ex. What do you do? Does that bother you? What do you say to him? And so we're going to be talking about the game, the game, your game that you're playing. And then you'd have to give advice on, your perspective on what you would do in the scenario, what you're sick of, what you would tell someone who's experiencing these things. Okay, panel. Your game has a class-based system, right? We've all played games like this, where you upgrade to a new class, right? And you have access to different types of weapons and abilities. Okay, great. Here's what happens, though. Changing classes does not change how you look. Your appearance stays the same. What do you do?
How do you cope?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Do you stick with the game? Is this game worth your time?
Yeah, it all depends on combat, You got to I think you stick with it until you see, because that class could even be better, and it could fit your outfit or your style of the character even more than it did before. You could be like, I was really kind of synced into who this character was, but then now that they're a technomancer, now it's just,
So you're suggesting they could grow into their outfit that they're already wearing.
Sure.
But don't give it too long.
Okay.
One or two more dates, and then if that doesn't start to shape up, bail.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like there are definitely a lot of games that, they put so much into the character design that, they don't want to change it, right? Like, that's just what this character wears and what they look like, when they go to bed and everything, right? And so I think of a character super well defined, then, maybe, their job doesn't have to define them, right? Necessarily. Just like, if you're an entrepreneur, you wear what you want to wear. You don't wear the Walmart uniform, right? So
okay,
yes,
that's a take. That's a take. I like that. Blood, you would have gotten woos if you were on The Real. You would have gotten applause and woos right there. Just to tip off this segment, this happened to me with Langrisser 1 and 2, and I dropped the game.
Oh boy.
I was too upset that the jobs did not change your appearance.
That's 2 games. Which one of those were you playing?
And they came together. I only played 1.
Okay.
I mean, Jones, maybe they change in 2.
What if it changes in 2? Now you got to start 2.
I'll have to reinstall. Let me know in the comments below if your appearance changes in 2. But for me, that's such a deal breaker. Like, I want to evolve. I want to digivolve. I want to change. I want like new armor. If I'm changing classes, I need to see some physical change, or else I'm not motivated. Really. Okay, next one. Your game takes place in ancient Japan. We've all played games like this. You've been playing your game for a while on English, which was default. And then suddenly, just for one cutscene, it switches to Japanese, and then it stays there for the rest of the game. Do you change it back? to English, or do you stick with Japanese?
I mean, that really depends very highly on what the English was like.
Let's say it was all kind of silly British voices.
It also very much depends on what the gameplay is like, right? Like Ace Combat is a good example from last year, I think, where, you know, whether you were into the English voice acting or not, like you kind of need to have it on English because they're giving you all this critical information. There's no way you're going to read those subtitles while you're flying around and doing loops around people.
That's fair. Jones, would you swap back or would you stick?
I'd swap back.
You swap back to English?
Yeah, it's not a preference of obviously one versus the other. It's just I've been this far with these people. Now I'm hanging out with different people. You know, now it's literally a different human being. Unless that's extremely impressive that you got a voice actor that'd be a very expensive voice actor. Who's like, oh, Japanese, I can just slip right into that. Actually, I bet the English to Japanese would be a lot rarer than the Japanese to English. I bet there actually probably are Japanese voice actors that are just like, English, no problem. Yeah, that would be weird.
The woman who does Pikachu does that.
That's right. Correct.
So this one was real too. This was Neo 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it glitched.
Started Neo 2 in English. Yeah, just one cutscene. He starts speaking Japanese, and then it just stayed Japanese for the rest of the game. And I'm like, okay, all right, we'll just do Japanese.
Okay, I can see that one. Yeah.
Last one. Your game is an open world game. You use a couple of your abilities, right, and your keen observation skills, and you find this big silver statue on the top of the mountain, right? You blow it up. There's an excellent explosion. You feel very gratified. And then the game says, 1 out of 17 silver statues destroyed.
Oh.
What do you say to your game?
Where are the other 16?
Check yourself.
Where are these statues? Guys, I gotta find these statues. I'll be right back. I don't see any more right now. I think
Jones, legitimately, you're excited to do that 16 more times?
Kyle, it's beyond exciting.
Oh my God. Oh,
it's beyond. It's exciting. It's not even a word. It's mandatory, Kyle.
Okay.
It become literally my next meal, backseat. Number one thing I got to do.
Blood, why does it have to check itself? Why are you telling this game to check itself?
Because I feel like it sort of ruins the moment, at least the way you described it, to where if it's not something that was already on a checklist that you're aware of, like now it's like, oh, that's just one of the mechanics. It's not a thing that's, you know, like an Easter egg or a secret or anything like that. It just, you know, I just came across this list earlier than I was supposed to.
This one also was true to my real life. This was Lego City Undercover. And I bailed on Lego City Undercover.
In that moment, that was it?
Not in this moment. As Blood said, there was a lot of it. You know what I mean? It's like 250 gold bricks. You know, you do this 100 more times. And
how's that different from any Lego game?
I can't.
How did you bail on that, but not Lego Marvel Superheroes?
It's like that times 100. Lego City Undercover is just too huge, dude.
I also bailed on Lego City Undercover because this is too many games. There's nothing it did wrong.
To me, it just became annoying. And like Jones, you're right. Every Lego game has like, if you have this ability, you can go to these places. It wasn't even that. It's like, if you have this ability, you can like grow this little plant and you can get this thing that's right on top of the plant. It's like, that's too annoying. You're annoying me on purpose. As opposed to like Metroidvania, like this thing gives you this ability, and that ability you can use all over the place, but also to access new areas. No, it's strictly like, just like snap your fingers and a plant grows. Like, oh, okay. Fun segment. You guys gave great advice. It is now time for love and respect. Love and respect. Didn't realize how hard it would be to do that over Zoom. I have to like, I feel like I have to cue it and then wait a second and then do love and respect.
Can I? We don't have to get into it, but can I just drop literally the one other news item from this week that I thought was great? It's,
Oh,
it's
heck
not
yeah,
even
I
a
forgot about
discussion.
this.
It's
I
not a
forgot about this.
discussion.
What do you
Animal
got?
Crossing sold bonkers in Japan. Bonkers.
Tell me what bonkers
It's
is.
bonkers in the UK too, apparently.
I don't even remember the numbers, but it was more than Pokemon.
I need facts, or else
It beat-
the corrections are going to try to correct us if we don't give them facts.
Animal Crossing had higher 1 week sales than Pokemon Sword and Shield in Japan.
Combined?
Yeah,
Ooh.
over a million, 1.89 million.
Actually, I want to talk about that for a second. I want to know what you think the COVID effect is on that.
Oh, just Animal Crossing in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. The question for me is it does it affect the game just because it's the game that launched? Because like, did Doom have this? I know Doom sold really, really well. They were excited about that. They were definitely touting those numbers. Or is it specifically Animal Crossing? You know, like how much is that? How much is that crossover? Would this not have worked for other games, or is everybody like in the mood for this type of game? I actually want to try to stay away from that language in my review because I hear like everybody talking about that. They're like, this is the game the world needs right now. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
everyone's already said that. I don't like want to get into that because it does feel that way. But it's like, is this? You don't want to say something's well timed because we are in a planetary crisis right now, and so you don't want to like, well, it's good for game sales. Like that's a bad take. But I do wonder, if it's just kind of the way. I saw that number and at first I was like, yeah, Animal Crossing, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's crazy. Why? I wonder if that would have been the same had we not been in this issue. I wonder if that would have been the same had it launched a couple years ago, like I thought it would. I thought this was going to be one of those franchises we were going to be playing the whole life of the Switch and not potentially, right before we were going to enter another generation.
I do have a take on it though, Jones. I think this would have done well regardless. To me, I think it is a more perfect sequel than Pokemon is a sequel.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably would have done super well. It's just, it's hard to say now, exactly how much of a boost it might have gotten because, like you're saying, it is what everyone is saying because it's a total chill out game and you need to chill out. You're stuck at home. You can get obsessed and just like lose a track of time.
Yeah, I want to stick with my theory though that I think social media helped out this game in particular a lot.
Yeah.
It's a very shareable game, yeah.
And the camera right there is part of the tutorial, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Animal Crossing actually changed that much throughout the years, but obviously it's much more popular now than it was in the GameCube era when it was the exact same game.
It was pretty popular then too. I remember there like a bunch of stuff about bands putting out like their little bits of their songs as jingles you could put on the town hall and all of that.
The bands, Kyle. The
No,
bands.
what bands? What bands?
I'd have to look it up, but yeah, Nintendo was definitely like putting that stuff out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's funny because there's some franchises that I love. Like I got to admit, there is a part of me that loves how much seeing GTA 5 on that, NPD just again and again and again and again. I love, it's like I know people are frustrated because they haven't done enough story stuff and they post this on GTA Online, but like I love that Rockstar, this developer that I am passionate about their games, is having all of this success. It's like not the reason I play Animal Crossing at all. I just thought Animal Crossing was like just to, I didn't think it was that big. I didn't expect Animal Crossing to just like shatter sales records. I just thought it was going to be the kind of thing that like, oh yeah, there's going to be it's my crew. This is my crowd. That's just like, no, we're not playing Doom. We're all playing Animal Crossing. And it's like most people are playing Animal Crossing right now.
Yeah.
Surprised. And this is physical sales also, so it doesn't include downloads.
Yeah, DS and 3DS were pretty high.
Nice.
And so if you take that and you think about like all the people that that don't play those systems that have just been waiting for an Animal Crossing, like I think you get some stacking effects there.
Yeah, it's kind of right, because I think the Wii one wasn't huge and the GameCube one wasn't necessarily huge. But you're right, Blood. It's almost maybe more that audience embraces this game more. And yeah, I mean, in a weird way, to me, Animal Crossing is a social media type of game. It's kind of just about having things and showing your things. It's kind of just about,
Yeah.
The game is about owning things. It's about just having nicer and weirder things to own and then showing them to people. It's funny to see the thing envy on social media. Like people like legit sad because they're just like, I thought I'd be happy playing this game, but all I do is go on Twitter and I'm just depressed because I got, what do you have? Oh man, Yeah, I saw the fighting game cabinets. Man, there's some
Oh,
cool
yeah, those
stuff.
are cool. Yeah. Also, somebody was saying today, because I saw like a really cool conversation that a guy from I think from IGN had tweeted out a video of this really long conversation with one of the villagers. I was like, man, I hadn't like really seen villagers talk like this yet. And somebody told me in response that it was like after the first week. So we're not even into seeing what a lot of these, elements are to the game.
Mine are very boring. My villagers are actually very boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like the whole, like the first game, like you got stuff from talking to people, but what they said to you was so interesting that like it could work either way. And whereas like right now, I feel like you're saying, it's like more about collecting and designing and customizing rather than talking to villagers.
Which is kind of the original point of Animal Forest. Was that the name of the game? The original? Yeah, is kind of, existing within this environment, and there wasn't so much crossover with people. Okay. All right. Let's do love and respect. Let's get there. Greetings, allies. Like most people, I'm currently cooped up inside my house thanks to my state being quarantined due to COVID-19. While this has been a blessing in disguise for numerous reasons, like allowing me to chip through my backlog, Arkham Knight has finally been vanquished. It's also allowed me to tackle a passion project, 3D printing. While I have a few smaller knickknacks that I've printed, like a Fight Club soap mold and a question mark block switch cartridge holder, I have my sights set on replicating some of my favorite video game weapons and artifacts, like the Plumber's Helper blaster from Mario and Rabbids, Reaper's shotgun pistols from Overwatch, and the Hellblade from Doom Eternal. This got me thinking, if given the chance, what one video game weapon or artifact would the allies love to own in real life? I'm not talking about a replica. I mean the actual item. What one item would you all pick? For me, I'd love to go with a super shotgun from OG Doom. Sorry, I'm on a bit of a demon slaying kick right now. Love and respect. And sorry, Enforcer, Sponge J1. And actually, I kind of like the qualifier that it's got to be 3D printed. So I'm actually going to reel this question back. Okay. If you could have one thing 3D printed. Because, you could say like any cool magic wand that you could just wave around and get infinite power. You know what I mean? Like if you could have a 3D printed object from any video game, what would you want?
Well, I can even reel it back even further because lightsaber was like the first thing I thought of.
Yeah,
but then
of course.
I'm like, wait, that's not a gaming thing. And it's weird. There's like a lot of items like gravity gun is something, but it's like the actual gravity gun itself is not that thrilling. Boy, I don't know. What does it say about me that nothing like jumps out? I'm not like having trouble picking stuff. I literally have no like. And there's so many cool. The Master Sword you can buy. Like there's so many.
Right.
I've held various Master Swords of size and shape.
I feel like it might have to be something like one of the Bloodborne weapons, right? Just little tricksy things.
Dude. One of the trick weapons. Heck yeah. Yeah. I was thinking maybe like a hook shot from Zelda.
Oh.
Kind of just be like a cool
hook shot.
It doesn't have to work. Just a cool thing to hold in my hand and like feel the weight of.
Yeah, that's cool.
Artifacts I find interesting too, like a cool item that you pick up at the end of a level that you could actually just put on your shelf.
Does it have to be a object?
What do you got, Jones?
Well, I mean, Final Fantasy VI I love dearly. It'd be cool just having like the Opera House, like that, just that sprite, like if
that's
it was
really cool.
If it was physically presented, like that one Mario amiibo that's blocky, like. It'd be neat to have that.
Just
as like
kind of a really small
or
scale, right?
Figaro Castle, just having like the actual pixel by pixel representation of that.
That's an amazing pick. I love that.
That'd be fun.
I got a square figure of the Magitech armor with Terra, which is pretty sweet.
Do you have that on your desk right now? Can we see that?
I don't have it on my desk. It's not that far away.
It's also not that sweet, apparently, if it's not that close.
I mean, I don't have that much of that stuff in here, but.
How long would it take for you to get that? I think we have to show it to people who are watching this video.
Let me mute my mic real quick.
Okay, so Blood's going to mute himself.
What is important to me, Kyle? What is within arm's reach of me
sitting
at my desk? How about that right there?
Oh, look how confident he is.
What do you think of that guy right there?
I'm trying to think of the first time I made that expression and what that was for. I think that's like episode 2, dude. Can't really remember. To listeners, he was just showing off a little CD from Box
Here we
Beat.
go.
Oh, so Blood's got, I'd say that's 2.5 inches tall. That's Terra on top of Magitech armor. It's not 3D printed. It's highly detailed. It is. It looks really cool. It looks like the Amano art more than the in-game art. It looks so
Right.
cool. Really, really cool looking statue.
And unfortunately, I don't think the focus would pick it up that well if we get close.
Right.
Dang, that's a nice
Her
little
on,
statue.
her on Magitech is interesting because it's only that one scene, right? It's just the beginning.
The very, very
Right.
beginning.
Yeah, Cyan and Sabin get in the Magitech right at one point to escape, but she's like mind controlled. Then it's like people always show her just being like, look, she's on vacation. She's on the edge of a cliff and just like, look at this view, and it's like she was slaughtering people on that thing, but whatever.
It's funny.
It's cool art. Yeah, it's all that matters. It's all that matters. Context be damned.
Let's play a game. Ooh, this one I bet Blood's gonna be good at this because Blood is good at remembering, just like he did earlier in this podcast, old marketing, classic marketing. Okay, here we go. Hope you're doing well, allies. This is from Fargo H. With Final Fantasy VII's Butterfinger promotion in Peanut Buttery Crunchy Force, I figured I'd round up some games that may or may not have had certain product tie-ins. The rules are simple. A game will be listed with 2 possible products. You have to answer which product the game had a tie-in deal with, or in some sneaky cases, whether it is both or perhaps even neither. Okay, here we go.
Great.
Enter the Matrix. Powerade or Dell Computers?
Powerade. I think Dell's a red herring.
It's Powerade. Yep. There were vending machines placed throughout the levels of
Oh
Powerade.
wow!
Then Enter the Matrix. Yeah.
There was just this beautiful time. Like, there's a couple remnants of it, but there's just this really weird era in like the late 90s or early 2000s where like every ride at Disneyland was sponsored by something wacky. Like Space Mountain was sponsored by FedEx, and there was like a robot within Space Mountain like scanning stuff like in FedEx boxes. And then they like stopped. Like they had it for a little bit. There's a remnant of it actually in because AT&T sponsored the Indiana Jones ride, and it said like choose benefits or something for those that choose wisely. So it was like AT&T had like an indie quote. It was like it was so weird. And they still Dole Pineapple still has the Dole thing. So and there's Starbucks and there is franchise stuff inside of it. And so I always wanted to do like to test people's Disney knowledge and be like, who sponsored Space Mountain? And they're like, oh, I can't,
All right, I'm looking forward to that.
Staples. What was I can't remember. FedEx.
Yeah, I'm ready for that bit, Jones.
Yeah.
Alan Wake, Duracell batteries or Verizon?
See, I think Duracell's so
Duracell.
easy.
It was
I think it's
Duracell.
Verizon. I vote Verizon. I think those are the easy ones because the flashlight battery.
This is a tricky one. Verizon, and the game featured Energizer batteries. Blood.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
This game got dirty very
That was
fast.
so funny.
Okay, Prototype, Hollywood Video or GameStop?
Oh, Hollywood Video would be so great. I love Prototype. God, I gotta replay Prototype.
That'd be a fun one to play. That'd be
Man,
a really fun
GameStop
replay.
seems like it might be
Or
in there.
you know what? I'll say neither. Actually, I don't remember any sponsors in that game. Hollywood Video would be hilarious though.
It's both.
It's both. Were they in the game?
They're not physically in the game, but they have billboards throughout the game.
Oh,
So it's not like you could wreck up the GameStop, but yeah.
nah, I don't recall any like fun places you could go to. That city was in a bad way. Bad
Yeah.
shape, that city.
Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, Airwaves Gum or Diesel Clothing?
What is Airwaves Gum? Diesel Clothing.
I don't remember either one of these. I'm gonna say neither.
I've never heard of Airwaves Gum either, but Sam enjoys the refreshing taste of airwaves in cutscenes.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
I reviewed that game, man. I don't remember that.
In cuts, didn't just slam on.
It's one of my.
I remember
one of my-
I remember the Palm Pilots and the Sony Ericssons and all the stuff that like your menus would have the logo like you're actually holding a device.
One of the weirdest product placements I've ever seen in a movie is in the Thomas Crown Affair. Rene Russo goes to a Diet Coke machine and takes out a Diet Coke, and Dennis Leary goes up to tell her something, and she goes and drinks the Diet Coke. And so, like, I would love to see that in, like, go back and that's Chaos Theory, where somebody's like, Sam, and he's just like, hold on a second. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. Go on.
And show them the brand too, Airwaves. This is Airwaves, by the way.
And the fact I've never heard of that gum, and I love gum. Oof.
Yeah, do you think it's like?
And
Do you
played
think
that game?
like some adult gum? I feel like it's gum for adults.
Is it possible that Airwaves is in Europe?
Sure. We might have to go.
That would make sense why we don't remember it and we've never heard of it.
Yeah. All right. Final Fantasy 15. Audi or American Express?
Neither. That I remember. I didn't play it, but I was upset that they had lots of sponsors, but I don't recall those being either of them.
I'm gonna say both.
It's both.
Wow, they didn't. They couldn't stop with that game.
So this one's kind of cheating because Noctis drives an Audi R8 in the spin-offs. But the in-game stores feature American Express. And I think they kind of do it, if I'm remembering correctly, they kind of do it kind of like how the Star Wars land at Disneyland does Cokes, where it's like the fake font or the imagined in-universe font. So when you buy a bottle of Coke at the Disneyland in the Star Wars world, it doesn't say Coca-Cola. It says, Coca-Cola in Star Wars fonts. I think they did the same with Final Fantasy 15. Sorry about that, though, Jones. That makes no sense.
I gotta take a breath and let that go.
Because there's no America. There's
I
no
don't
America.
Right.
I don't want to get angry about it. It's just it does. I can't say that it was world breaking in a game I didn't finish. So
Yeah.
not a big deal. Although I'm curious if it's a trend now. If that's like Square's like, this is something you're gonna have to get used to in Final Fantasy now. It's like,
Kingdom Hearts 3, no ads, I would say. No tie-ins. No products.
Kingdom Hearts would make more sense.
Yeah, me too.
The whole game's a tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devil May
Aside
Cry
from
2.
all those films you could buy on Blu-ray.
For Devil May Cry 2, Swiss watches or Levi jeans?
Neither.
Neither.
This has got to be neither.
Yeah, you got to neither. It did have a tie-in promotion with Diesel jeans, however.
Okay.
It's much more on brand. Uncharted 3, Subway or North Face?
Subway is so good.
Yeah.
Subway. Yes.
There was an in-store cross-promotion and the opportunity to show your always fresh brand loyalty via items in the multiplayer mode. I remember that one. In the multiplayer mode, you could have Subway stuff. EverQuest 2, Axe body wash or Pizza Hut?
I can't tell which is
Pizza
better.
Hut.
I can't. Axe. I got Axe. It's so good.
It's Pizza Hut. It's Pizza Hut. In a stunning display of the future, players could type /pizza into the command line and be taken straight to Pizza Hut's ordering page.
Wow.
Oh, that makes it because so you can.
What
get the
year
food
was
while you're
that?
playing? Yeah,
Do we
yeah.
know?
I don't know, dude. No
That does
idea.
make
That's
sense.
so funny, though.
I remember being surprised and impressed when you could use the Wii to order pizza and stuff from the Japanese on the Japanese store. They had
Whoa.
services like that.
See, I'd say it's too much work to even go to their website.
Exactly.
I should just hashtag pizza, and then you already my credit card information is already in EverQuest, and you have my address, and so you just send me. You go to the option screen, you pick your pizza of choice, and I'm just like, pizza.
Yakuza 5, Gaga Milano watches or Yamaha concert piano series?
Both, all of it, and much more.
For some reason, not the Yamaha concert piano series, Jones.
Disappointed.
Gago Milano watches, me too. The game features a side quest to the exquisite sophisticated watch, topped off with a full 2-page advertisement spread. Cool.
Wow.
All right, last
I
one.
mean, the person who wrote this game had to come up with a second option that wasn't correct. I wonder why that.
Me too.
I wonder what road led them to that pianos.
It seems convincing, right?
Yeah.
Puchi Gumi, a noted children's manga magazine, or Hurry in a Curry for Ni no Kuni.
Okay, there we go. I mean, that first one's so specific. I'd say that first one.
Don't get baited. You got baited. It's not the first one. It's Curry in a Hurry. There is a tie-in for Ni no Kuni's own specific brand of curry, produced and available in all good Japanese stores, at least in 2013.
Very cool.
Fun game.
Yeah,
all right.
Pokemon should have had its own curry. Should have had some tie-in.
Yeah, why not, dude?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this next one. Hello, allies. Untitled Goose Game just got its second Game of the Year award recently, and both of these awards were from fellow developers. Why is this happening? And more specifically, why is it coming from other developers? I don't want to sound mean, but I just don't understand the love of this game, especially on a GOTY level. To me, it is a game with some clever puzzles, some jokes, and a memeable goose. I've wanted many indies to win GOTYs in the past, like Shovel Knight and Celeste. So I'm happy they finally got the recognition. I'm just puzzled why it's this one. Is this just developers making a statement that indies should be taken more seriously for GOTYs? It's the game most. Is it the game most developers played, or other games split the vote and Goose got all of the rest? What is the disconnect between critics not mentioning much in GOTY talks other than a casual shout out, and both developer awards shows giving it the grand prize? Because I just don't get it. Why does this game deserve a GOTY? Love and respect, Beaks.
So it's like the one they all agree on.
What was the one recently at GDC that?
Yeah, that was GDC that they got the main award.
Yeah.
And then Short Hike got the IGF.
Yeah.
Cool. If you ask me which of those two games, it's Short Hike, but
it's funny though, because IGF is the indie awards, and then the bigger award, went to Goose Game.
So I think it's a fair question, that we got to be careful with. You could be irresponsible to say like they're not voting honestly, but what is the disconnect? Why is Untitled Goose Game winning these other awards that are for
if you
developers?
yourself were a dev, wouldn't I can see if you would want something that would not get the kind of attention that other outlets would get, whether it's something like the Game Awards or something like our own awards. You would want to see something kind of pushed out there that is not going to get, is not going to receive the same attention. Mm-hmm. You would want, you would want your vote to count in that way, I think.
I do think
okay, let's just throw another award to Sekiro or Control or Resident Evil 2. I
do think that there may be a little bit of merit to just, a lot more people have actually played this, because it is a game that an hour, 2 hours, something like that. You play it on the Switch, so it's pretty easy to do, and to just pop in and play that game a little bit on your lunch breaks, and so I definitely think that's that comes into play, especially when you're dealing with something like this, where it's just like mass voting, right? Like you can't get into a room and talk to each other with I don't know how many thousands of people they probably have voting on GDC. Actually, I don't know how GDC tends to work. Like, I know it's the developers' awards, but I don't know what that process is. The selection process is like.
Yeah, and I do think that clever puzzles, good jokes, and a memeable goose, I do think it's simplifying it a little too much, and that it is a little more unique in that this is a game just about being a bad person. Every single goal is to annoy the humans, is to be disruptive. And I think it is unique in that way. You're not trying to be liked. You're not trying to do side quests for people and make them like you and get experience points. It is really to cause chaos, and that's the joy of the game. So I do think it is absolutely visually a simple game, right? And conceptually a simple game, but I think that might be the appeal. I think when game developers spend 5 years on a thing and they're like, what are we doing? Yeah. We could just be making Goose games. We could just be doing that. And I kind of think that might be it.
And this game did take a long time, though.
Did it? Oh, you're right. I feel like I saw GIFs of that game years ago. You're right.
Yeah. It's been circling for a while.
Yeah, but not with a team of 100 or 200 people. Yeah.
Right.
But it does, when you have the anger of these farmers or people that are scared, like there's not a ton of detail to their bodies, there's not a ton of detail to their facial expressions, but that those emotions still come across. And so I think when you have a game like that just kind of fits all of the, like enough was done in every department, when a developer can really kind of break a game down and understand how much effort was put in to deliver the product that I got. It's like I could see them being like, they nailed all of this. And I could also see, like handing off an award, which I'll just call like, I would have never thought of that. Like I could see you looking back at 2019 and being like, what won in 2019? Like Goose Game. You're like, oh yeah, right. Like that game that none of us thought that would be some stealth jerk simulator. Like it's just, it takes so many different ideas. And it's also so, I think another thing too, when you're a developer and if you're at a smaller dev, you're worried about, should I do something that's popular enough? If you're at a bigger dev, you're like, I can't, we have to make the thing that our fans are expecting. We have to, it's so dangerous to make, and scary to make something that's really risky. And then you have something like Untitled Goose Game where like, it just feels like they did not care. They're like, this is the game I wanted to make. I had, obviously no compromises is naive to say, but it's just like, it feels like that kind of game where they were like, that was I had a weird dream and I made that game. Mm-hmm. I think devs are just like, I respect that, man. Way to go. In
Yeah.
this industry in 2019, like way to step out and make that the thing you put all of those resources and time into.
It seemed to me they got the farmer thing first, just pecking at this farmer, making him, mess up and make mistakes and wonder where his things are. And they're just like, we have something here. Let's expand upon this. There's no grinding, right? There's a lot of stuff I respect about the game.
Yeah,
But you're right. I think you're both right in line.
Where like one of the jokes earlier in this year was like, is it Rage 2? Is it Far Cry New Dawn? Who can tell? There were like a lot of shooters and a lot of games where it was hard. Even like moments of Apex, you can look at it and be like, oh, that's Apex, And Goose, there's no question. You can look at that and tell, like, yes, there's no way to confuse that. Maybe Ooblets, for like a hot second, you can maybe confuse it with. But
we're gonna play a classic game. We're gonna play Got 'em or Don't Got 'em. This is where we have a famous person in a video game, and we have to determine if they were voicing their character in that video game or not. I did randomize the order, so don't try to find a pattern in the got 'ems or don't got 'ems. Jones, I do want to warn you ahead of time that there is no Amanda in this one.
oh, come on!
I know.
Are we out of voice matches? She only did.
We might be. Yeah, it might be only 2.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1. Will Smith as Oscar the Fish in Shark Tale.
Didn't get him.
Didn't get him.
Didn't get him. Don't got him. That's at like the peak of Will Smith's career too, right? Yeah. Phil Lamar.
Phil.
Maybe just after the peak. Michael Caine as Finn McMissile in Cars 2.
Got him.
No.
Don't got him. Don't got him.
Don't got him.
That'd be a good get, but don't got him.
I was just thinking, like, if it's something like that, it could, be very particular to where, like, he doesn't have a lot of lines, so they just grab lines from the movie that they already had,
Yeah. No, but Martin Jarvis is the person who played Finn McMissile, the famous Finn McMissile. Al Pacino as Tony Montana in Scarface, The World Is Yours.
I think that would have been such a huge advertising thing at the time if they had got him. I don't think they got him.
I don't think they got him.
Don't got him.
Yeah, that would have been
So this is interesting.
on the cover.
So he's played by Andre Sogliuzzo.
It probably has a more authentic accent than Pacino did.
So that's the thing. That's the thing, Jonesy, is Pacino approved of the project and approved of the use of his likeness, but was physically unable to do Tony Montana's voice properly anymore.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So he's like, look, I can't.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, all right, we'll find somebody to do it. Gerard Butler as Leonidas in 300, March to Glory.
Got him. Why not? Long shot on this one.
Don't got him.
Ah.
Crispin Freeman is the person who filled in. I do like that we started with 5 don't got hims in a row there.
Yeah.
Or 4, that was 4.
I was waiting for it.
Sarah Silverman as Vanellope von Schweetz in Wreck-It Ralph.
Got him.
Got her.
Got him. Yeah. We 3DS DS.
Infinity too.
What I love about this is I like find games that I would love to play. Wreck-It Ralph on Wii sounds really good. Naomi Watts as Ann Darrow in Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Ooh, I think they got him.
I think they got him too because I remember Peter Jackson being all over that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of budget behind that game.
All right, so just a second. I copied and pasted this wrong, and I don't have the got him or don't got him.
Oh, no.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Me too. Maybe our live chat can tell us before I can get here.
Because a circus was really involved in that, I believe.
Yeah.
Really? The game itself,
in the game particularly. I just remember that just, because that was like one of the first 360 games, wasn't it? That was really early in the gen.
Yeah, I had it on GameCube as well.
It was a launch title for 360. I remember seeing that demo unit of that at Best Buy before the 360 launch. And honestly, I was kind of like, it's okay. This is next gen? All right.
Cross-gen.
Right, but like it's like this is the power of the Xbox 360, King Kong. I do remember also seeing Call of Duty having really nice looking smoke, and I said, that's next gen.
Right. Yeah, that was a weird one that year because was it Call of Duty 2 that went to Xbox 360, and then PS2 and GameCube got Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, which is an entirely different game.
Yeah. Jones, what is the live chat audience doing right now?
What are they saying?
Yeah, is it is it got him or don't got him?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they're saying stuff, but it doesn't mean is that their guess? Is that?
I'm having the hardest time with Patreon.
It's very
right
clear
now.
that Jones has not been looking at chat, so we've.
Oh, I've 100% been looking at chat.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm looking at chat. It's
Right.
it's a lot of Gotham's.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that one was got him. Yeah, I don't know how I messed up the copy and paste there so bad. Yeah. Okay.
But it's literally just got him.
So
It's not
they're-
like, no, I looked it up and I got him.
they're
Space
saying,
Dom says he wrote this game. Nobody's taking
okay,
this
all right.
seriously.
Thanks, Space Dom.
Oh,
All
so
right.
we are. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
What?
I thought somebody said we are Googling, but they said, what are we Googling?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
What are we googling? All right, so Naomi Watts confirmed got him. All right, Patrick Stewart is Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek Invasion on the PS1.
Got him.
Why do you say that with such confidence, Jones?
He's a very prolific voice actor. He does a lot of stuff.
Got him.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell
me-
And he just seems like.
What do you think that game is like on PS1? Again, this is like, man, I gotta look that game up. Star Trek Invasion on PS1
Yeah, I don't know it.
with the man himself doing his own man. That's probably so sick. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy in Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Xbox.
Yeah. Got her. Sure.
Don't got her.
Don't got him.
Wow.
Giselle Lauren filled in for Buffy.
Huh. Wonder if they got anybody.
Angelina Jolie as Grendel's mother in Beowulf the game.
That stupid game.
No. No. Didn't get her.
Got her.
Didn't get her.
Didn't
Okay.
get her. No.
Patricia Somerset filled in.
Was that her likeness at all? We don't know, huh?
It
So-
probably had to be, right?
No, I just played this recently. No,
In heels. Kind of stupid movie.
was-
Recently? You mean like 3 years ago?
yeah, like 3 years ago. They still did the naked gold thing, but they did not do her face. By the way, I don't think Naked Gold Woman was part of Beowulf that I read in high school. And all right, let's be real here. What do you think came first? Casting Angelina Jolie as Grendel's mother, or you cast Angelina Jolie, or before you say like we need a naked gold woman, who do we find? Which came first, Naked Gold Woman or Angelina Jolie?
I'll let Jones answer this.
Yeah, Naked Gold Woman.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whether she was in heels, though, I don't know. The heels, I think, were the most fascinating design element. Heels.
Yeah.
Stilettos.
Yeah.
Really, this is one of the oldest stories ever. Heels? Okay.
It's a little something for Daddy. Gordon Ramsay as himself in Hell's
those
Kitchen
heels.
the game.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
God.
What's the point? What's the point? A voice match for a reality video?
You're right. What's the point? No, they got him. They got him.
I would want to do a Cup of Jones
It would be
editorial
super
about that.
fascinating if they didn't. It would
Yeah.
be so funny.
So that game is on Wii. I would love to play that as well. Gordon Ramsay as himself
think
in
it
Hell's
has-
Kitchen the game.
Any similarity to Overcooked?
No, I bet it's more like Cooking Mama, dude. If it's on Wii,
Oh,
it's probably
sure.
just like
Oh my
blah, blah,
gosh.
blah, blah, blah.
Can you imagine the pressure if you had to do a voice match? If you had to become him? You're like, oh man,
I could do it.
what do I do?
He's very nice. There's a true sensitivity to him that I think you got to access.
Guy Fieri, you can do, you do in a heartbeat. Anybody?
It's Guy Fieri's in the look. You got to
Ramsay.
get the look right.
Right.
Pierce Brosnan as James Bond in 007, Everything or Nothing.
No.
That's on
got him.
PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and GBA. They got him.
Oh, they got it?
They got him.
Ah.
Shoot, that was probably.
I think I stopped by that point.
Is that before Tomorrow Never Dies? Is that like? It's probably like.
No,
the
that was
last-
after. Tomorrow Never Dies was a sequel to Goldeneye.
Okay. Die Another Day?
Was the last one he did.
Do you think this is
World
before
was
or
not
after
enough, and then
that?
Die Another Day.
Because it's probably close. It's probably close to like his last thing as James Bond. Hugh Jackman as Van Helsing in Van Helsing.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah,
They
I
got him.
I did play that game.
Jones, how good is it?
It's not fantastic, but it's
I'm about to order this game right now.
yeah, it's not.
PS2, Xbox.
It's a better game than movie. I would I would wager actually.
I can't wait to play that. It's so cool. Willem Dafoe as Gil in Finding Nemo. PS2, Game Boy, Xbox, PC, Mac, Game Boy Advance, Java, little over the top.
Got him.
They got him. They got Willem Dafoe.
Disney.
He's on board.
It's Disney. You're always gonna keep that in mind.
No, we just had cars.
Yeah. Well, I think they give you.
It's Michael Caine, though. You know, it's a different. I don't know.
From what I understand, they give you like I forget what it's called, like the right to deny it first. Like you have to be offered the job first.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Right of first refusal, right? Something like that.
Nice Blood. Yes, you get that for if you're a Disney character's voice. Last one. Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen in Big Bang Theory, the Telltale game. I'm joking. It's Game of Thrones, the Telltale game. This was on PS4, Xbox One, PS3, 360.
Yeah, they got everybody. They got the entire cast.
They did. God.
Yeah, they got the whole crew.
They look kind of like them. Yeah.
In fact, I think they did right of first refusal, and everyone that said no, they wrote that character out of the story. You know,
because some people are just gone.
I think they were like, well, I don't know, Daenerys doesn't really make sense, and it's like we got her. You make it make sense. Like, oh,
right.
All right. What if one of the person's like, okay.
Thanks, Space Dom, who did in fact write that game. Thank you. Shall we do one more?
We shall.
Oh yeah, because this one's from a long-term lurker. I like that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like almost every week we get a new person. I want to get their things in. Hey, Allies, long-term lurker here, but I felt it would be important for you all to know how special your content is. Due to a genetic condition, I've had to go and get open heart surgery done to replace one of my heart valves. It has been pretty scary, made much, much worse because of the current pandemic situation. My family wasn't even allowed to go into the hospital with me. The surgery was a success, though, and after just a few days, I was released to recover at home. Those days at the hospital, when I was awake, were spent catching up on EZA content. Particularly, I watched Weekly Hunts and started the Pokemon Silver playthrough. These have been fantastic, as even when I can't keep awake, I can just have the stream playing and jump back in. Thank you all so much for what you create. For a topic, what games do you guys like to play, or what streams would you recommend watching for when you are really sick or injured? What games are better to play when you are barely coherent and drugged up on pain meds, and which are better to save for when you're a little more cognizant? Animal Crossing is a given. Don't even bring that up. Other games in my backlog: Link's Awakening, Castlevania Requiem, Dark Souls, Sims 4, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Yakuza Kiwami. Love and respect, Matt B.
A lot of love and respect from chat, must be said.
Heck yeah.
A lot of people sending the love in chat.
Yeah, you go, Johns.
I think Games Done Quick obviously is a very popular stream anyway, but like that just proves that we're all human. You know, like that, like it's just to see someone like putting themselves on the line like that and potentially, you know, failing and or potentially showing their weaknesses. It's just kind of nice to have that stuff. The moments are great when they succeed, and the moments are also great when they're not able to do it or they don't meet their own expectations. But the pain med one is that's a tricky one.
I think it's not too much pressure, and I think it served me pretty well when I didn't need to focus, like with flights and things like that. Is Picross? Yeah. And there's just have Picross there. You know, you at first it's a little hard to get into like how the patterns and things work, but once you get there, it's just this matter of deduction, and it's like it keeps your brain working, but you also don't feel like you have to be immersed in this thing to enjoy it.
Yeah, like having Castlevania, Dark Souls, Kingdom Come Deliverance on this, like good luck. You know what I mean? If you're not sober, good luck with those games. Like sick, I'm thinking like Telltale games, and then just being a bad boy. Like playing through Batman and just being a bad Batman is really fun to do when you're sick, I think. Just be a bad human Batman.
To that level, if you're talking about like just, being kind of under the influence of something, when I had my wisdom teeth out, and I came back and I was like all kind of delirious, Cruising USA, that was, you hit like those cars and they start flipping and the people are screaming and I'm like, this is the best thing I could ever play right now.
Well, that is a great pick. What year is it?
What year was that? That had to have been either 97 or 98.
So you're playing on N64?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that to death. Okay, time for bets. Next week's bet. Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, I think I missed.
Oh, you missed this? Jones and I were prepared. We have our bets written down.
We sure don't.
We don't, Blood. We don't. I totally forgot about this.
Okay.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Like, how? I was here before Kyle.
Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is we're all gonna have to write it down and then reveal it at the same time, so nobody nobody cheats. Okay.
You have
Okay.
a piece of paper. Let me get it.
Let me get my little notepad over here.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay. So
And I have last week's bet ready to go.
great. So Persona 5 Royal will be released on March 31st, which I think is 2 days before we're going to be recording next week's podcast. At this point next week, what will the trophy percentage be for Castle of Lust? Seized. This is where you clear the castle palace. Castle of Lust seized. Not in a week, in 2 days.
Oh, in 2 days.
Yeah, I think it's basically 2 days.
Ooh.
What will the trophy percentage be for clearing the first castle?
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Jones, you ready?
Yeah.
Blood, ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
0.6.
31.
I got 8.1%. Is it backwards for you too?
Why is my camera backwards?
Yeah, I think the
don't know why.
camera's probably flipping. Yeah.
My camera's flipped for some reason.
All right. Hey, whatever.
Is that a number? Chad, is that a number?
Cool.
John Williams is flipped too. I don't know why I'm flipped.
Let me lock that in. So Jones, John Williams actually looks correct when I see you. So I wonder if it's only flipping it for your own.
Oh,
view.
maybe it's only flipping it up for us.
Yeah, weird.
I don't know.
It's very weird.
Yeah, because I see John Williams. I can read John Williams fine.
Me too.
For me, it's flipped.
Oh, but Jones's view is going on to YouTube though. That's the worst.
Which?
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
Right. Because when we post it later, right?
Half-Life.
Hey, I can. Well, Brandon Jones will be flipped. I can flip myself in post. You know.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a lot of work, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Half-Life Alyx releasing March 23rd. Oh, has released this week. How many Steam reviews would the game have at this point next week? What did everybody bet last week, Jones?
I bet 6K. Michael Huber bet 875. Michael Damiani bet 100. Kyle Bossman bet 1,200, 1,200, and Ian bet 1,400, 1,400.
Ooh, that looks like I said 1,200,
Yeah.
and you said you had the high bet with 8K.
I bet 6K.
6K. That's it. The review count right now overwhelmingly positive, 11,636.
Wow.
The response to this game has been way bigger than I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, the reviews were just crazy.
I thought it had good reviews. I didn't think VR was that strong.
Oh, sure. Like enough people had the headsets to even really do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, there are a lot of people playing it.
It's a good story. That's the thing. Is there's not a lot of VR games that are good headline stories. You know, it's like even if you play the most exceptional game and you come running out and you're like me, I was like, Lone Echo, everyone, Lone Echo. And it's like, cool, Jones. You know, whereas like you come out and you're like, Alex is good. Like that's a story, actually.
Yeah, because we believe you.
know.
You're right. Yeah.
And
I don't necessarily
then,
believe you because I've seen a lot of people still like, I'm still not buying an index. I'm still not getting it.
but I also think with that, there's probably a lot of lapsed VR owners, right? Because there's the people that are like really into VR, right? They know the scene. It's totally different than the normal gaming scene. They're talking amongst themselves. Then there are also a lot of people that bought headsets, played with them for a week or two, and then packed them up, put it in the closet because they didn't have anywhere to put that stuff.
Yeah.
And they all got those headsets out this week.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where if you bullseye a niche, you will find huge success. And I think this is that. I think everybody who has those headsets was playing that this week. You know, at least a large portion of people who have the right headsets were playing that this week. And so, yeah, I think they just bullseyed a niche. I think it's pretty sweet. That brings our scores to Gorgeous Gorillas 7,
Woo!
Sick Owls 4. Let me tell everyone about patreon.com/easyallies. That would be where you would go to see what we do. And it is definitely a different time to see what we do, see what we're still doing, I would say, because reviews are still happening. Previews, we're finding a way. We're still doing all our podcasts.
Yeah, the previews have been fun.
Yeah, they're pretty cool to watch, actually, with a split screen. I liked it. I like the production on that. So yeah, check that out. See how you can support the Easy Allies. People who give $1 or more per month get the ad-free version of the podcast, which, I mean, this week's was just ad-free for everybody. That's how it works sometimes. $5 or more patrons get the podcast 2 days early. They can see it on Fridays as opposed to Sundays. See it and hear it. Jonesy, how about some shout outs?
Shout out to Elfanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Will Schmuck, and Mr. One Luigi.
Shout out. That's pretty much it. Jonesy, you won the bet. Back on the board, baby.
Yeah.
You get the right and responsibility to share your Twitter handle with the world. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off. Did I give you a final word too? I feel like I only said 3 things.
Oh, I'm taking a final word.
Yeah, final word. Anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head?
What's up, everybody? You can follow me at Trailer Jones. Go watch Box Peak. Go do it. Go do it right now. You know what? I say that because I know there's one of you watching. You can be listening to the podcast, you can be watching the podcast. There's probably one of you on Twitch that's like, you know what? You got me, Jones. I never did. I never watched it. Go watch it right now.
If you need an easy way to find
10
it,
episodes.
Because I know sometimes people have a hard time with how YouTube sorts things, whatever, even though I try to make it easy. EasyAllies.com, and then just hit that.
Right.
Control F, Box Peak, you'll find the playlist.
Cool.
Go watch it. I want to reiterate, and I just want to say something because this is a weird podcast. It's a weird week. It's a weird world we're living in right now. And I really got hit by that love and respect about that person who came out of surgery and said that we did something special for them. And I feel we are very lucky because we have, friends and loved ones of the allies that are losing their jobs because they work in retail, they work, at restaurants, they work in bars, they work, and a lot of people are very much having a very hard time, trying to make ends meet. And we are crowdfunded, and we are, this guy down here said that he was leaving, and so our Patreon dipped a little bit. But even in the wake of this financial kind of trial that everyone is experiencing right now, a lot of people are still showing up to support us on Patreon. A lot of people are still supporting us by showing up and watching our streams and choosing to focus their attention on Easy Allies and choosing to support us financially. And that has always meant something. That has always been a really big deal, and that just has just kind of hit me in a really kind of particular way the last couple weeks. So I just want a general gratitude to everybody, of course, for supporting us, but especially for you saying that the stuff that we do means something to you. We are forced to live from home. We are forced to try to do our best to avoid this terrifying virus that is making its way over the world, and all of you are making that easier for us to do and making our lives easier to get through very much right now, and we appreciate it so much. Cheers.
You're that black man for the whole game. Nintendo's finally making a game where you're a black man.
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Caleb Crawford, L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Mr. One Luigi, Will Schmuck, Walker Hope, Nick, Mark Dalga, Bradley Spees, Dave Red, Richard G. Flowers, Paolo Costabel, Jake Musser, Rev Sheesh, Zachary Wingate, Jan Tyson, Sigma, Neil Bruce, Robert Stoffel, Thomas Wigginton Jr., Chum Nguyen, Discarded Digit, Ali Cat, Ethan R.C., Mick Roper, Tim O'Keefe, Damnable Nook, Andrew Reif, Happy Gaming, Miguel Rivas, Valmar, Blue Water Blue Sky, Daniel Portillo, Jose Gutierrez, Alex AI, Rob Bob Will, Beaten Down Brian, Hayden Hargraves, Matthew Pauling, G. Levin, So Shiesty, G. Ken, Gary James, The Banana Forklift Killer, Brad Lohman, Marcel Markov, Catherine Lai, Todd Yurkovic, Stephen Last, Candy Coated Thorns, Hitman 47, Kelvin Hartanto, Rack, DRD 7 of 14, Matthew Holcomb, Oni Blackmage, Joachim Morovuo, John Santoro, Niz Klojgard, Jesper Lawson, Jordan Kirk, Yasser Kerbushi, James Vitt, Sam Handrick, Stephen Thomason, Robert Crouch, Luke Bennett, Andy Drew, Neuromod, John Burns, Rickster EXE, Brad Grenz, S-Snake24, Jesse Blue, Mango, Richard Johnston, Michael Yao, Mark J. Betters II, Steve Fallon, Dan Sebring, Roy Sung, Adam Henry, Blue, Accounts Payable, Mikhail Aniel, Corey Jackson, Wavering Radiant, Jeffrey Ruchtenwald, Ritz 1906, Noah Weinstein, V8 Dave, Christian Hundorf, Eric Gustafson, Paul Sway, Ulf himself, I Sun Chor, Christopher Santis, Strikeout NZ, Sandra and Richard Acero, David Boyarski, Faraz Rizvi, Gali Gutierrez, Travis Ing, Pete Shoemaker, Reed Johnson, Manuel Thomas, Michelle Nubb, Mikey Mizek Novak, Kim Monk Vonderlief Hagensen Petersen, Mons Anderson, Alex Monaco, Paul Bishop, Modren, Zintrax, Kurzistav Rogowski, Marco Hernandez, Daniel Wong, Zoostic, V. Kira Ray, Don Turner, Sebastian Urban, Eddie Reisner, Sebastian Trier, Adam Scherenbrock, Evan Eng, Raymond Chow, Adam, Azazel Valkyrie, Junya Motomura, Ivan Ponce, Tuttle, Bjornor Haraldsvik, Extravaganza, Joshua Vanswall, Stephen Walther, Tense George, Colin Hoylman, Barry, Cyberboa, Forrest, Eric Maynard, Chase Caldwell, Momo Rashid, Remy Loisel, Caffeine Rage, Rahiv Maharaj, Leon Keys, Chris the Pianist, Rerun, Ian Anderson, Philip Higdon, Furious Action Gamer, Nycrypt, Jai Aldiar, Robert I, Ivan Skogheim, C.S. Lewis, Ahmad Al-Rashed, Bonnie and Jason Connor, Jock, Travis Miosi, Mike Calvi, Alex Glass, The Fatty Show, Neobear, DanPan16, Wouter DeHaze, Malcolm Moschette, William Heaney, Not Jack, Mithers Strongbeard, Jana, Anthony Galvin, Ahab, Clay Roberts, Palkin Stirs and Stirs, Ora Gacchino, Dakota Hayes, The Classiest Hobo, Misuki 211, Matt Karwoski, Liam Ahern, Jason Joint, Bunny Chen, Christopher A. Butler, Jason Shields, David Kennedy, Materia Addict, Diggles, Fabian Winkler, Arthur Henrique Chinaglia, Culinary Stud, Nuno Amaral, Magnus Rasmussen, Joel Olson, Edison S. Prada Jr., Tim Mann, Sean Rao, Haley Hill, Jay Potter, Crediar, Mauricio Fuentes, Jesse Fish, Thorfkin, Gabriel Aberg, Chad McIntosh, Zahid Hosseini Karami, Luis Ibarra, Lee Young, Alexander Zirianov, Morpheus, Brian Foster, Delisi, Sean Cornett, Santiago Carrillo, Linson Wu, General Piet, Zio VGM, Matthew Migler, Andrew Smith, Andrew Stoke, Brandon White, Christophe Fatui, Chris LaRue, A Pack of Puppies, Michael Clendenan, Wenbo Shan, Hadi Ali, Aurelien Grenier, Trevor Thomas, Will Arrowwood, Michael Kozachenko, Awesome Express, Adam Lindsay, Corey Landega, Pablo Rodriguez, Timo Yeager, Alec Church, Ibrahim Sozer, Feber Gundam, Mike Hook 1, Carl Williams, Gustav Strombaum, Volker Bach, Russell Bateman, Lindsay Wells, Jason I, Christoph Packlinger, Rickard Enbaum, James Vest, Nefertiti Jenkins, Tyler Wallace, Joe Rutsky, Kyle Quintero, Jesse Vitelli, Jonathan and Amy Alconis, Quinn Riley, JC3, Jack Cullen, Logan Young, Vishal Singh, Paul Nolson, Isaac Swanson, Jameson Lapine, Max His Shame Turman, Jethrin, Bread Roll Art, Matt Ford, Joey Din, Splontot, Jordan Phillips, Ryan Wagner, Matthias Clare, Spencer Stevens, Jeffrey Murillo, Kevin Camposano, Trizac, Matt Ferguson, Jake in Japan, Sam Sorensen, Vincent Foliot, Madman Kevin, Michael Baloney, Michael Pliskin, Andy Marks, Tim Stroffman, XWF Outlaw, Julius Garcia, Alex Lavanier, Gon Kef, Joel Short, Dimitri Zetas, Mazrim Tame, Ganzak 009, David, Helen Y, Jameson Anderson, Daniel Fuchs, David Halverson, Travis Gakowski, J Kim 7VK, Megadet, Bard 91, Sneaky Gato, Blake Bonsack, W Crusher, Line Crown 19, Tom Masterman, Jojo Denko, ZK, Mac Reed, Jose Carlos Madrigal, Mr. Anarchy, Thomas Blaze Fauchereau, Andreas Risberg, Krister Lundmark, Anti-Ataraxia, Dreams of Caffeine, Michael Bisegli, Natabia Ross, Matthew Holmes, Alexander McEachern, Silent Consonant, Raymond Lee, Allison Burt, Trenton Robison, Lars Berger, Marcel Giroux 17 Froelich, Donley, Matthew Eden, Erdney Kutenow, Cabbage 92, Megan McDonough, Rainier Dennis Bautista, Nathaniel Austin, Ricky Cass, Tristan Howard, Glenn Olson.